What's up, St. Charles? Welcome to the St. Charles High School Overwatch 2 Invitational. I am Chef Billy, and on to my right side is the ever lovely, the ever fantastic Tiny Shiny. How you doing this morning, my friend?
Oh, absolutely wonderful as always, Chef Billy. You know, you and I, we love our high school Overwatch tournaments, and it is a pleasure to be here with the squad in St. Charles, Missouri today. We have a ton of high school Overwatch action coming your way just momentarily, and we got so much to talk about as we prepare to start off our games today.
That's right, we got a bracket here. This is how it's all going to go down today. Our first game out the gate is going to be Gateway Science Academy, the Gators, going up against Northeast Missouri's very own Kirksville Tigers, the senior high school. And that will be our first match out of the day. So let's take a look at how these teams are going to stack up head to head. We will see. That is going to be Gateway Science Academy, the Gators, versus Kirksville Senior High Tigers. Caden, very original name there. Caden is going to be Wild Dog, and Tate Dumb Booms will be your final person rounding out that roster. And we're having a map veto system here today, Tiny, where we have a chance for the teams to have a choice of where they're going to start out at, and then we will see which one gets vetoed out.
Yeah, it looks like that actually we will be starting on Coliseo for certain today. So kicking us off on a push map, not something we traditionally see within a series of Overwatch. So this will be another interesting way to get our series kicked in this type of format. So of course, Coliseo, one of our three selections for push map. It will be a 10-minute game that will be played with our good old friend Timmy the Robot in the middle, pushing these barriers back and forth in a tug-of-war-like system. And the thing with push, they go pretty quick, Billy, and it's a good way for teams to get their feet wet and start to get an understanding of what their opponents are going to be shaping up to today.
I am a big fan of it not being control to start with. I think that control should
Yeah.
actually be the final map of any series, because it is the most even. So we'll see how this actually goes down for these two teams. This is our first chance to get a look here at some northern Missouri teams. I am down in the southwest part of the state in Springfield, so this is near and dear to my heart. I am down in 417 land, just down I-44, about 3 hours to the southwest of St. Charles. Got a lot of friends and really close family up there in that part of the state. So this means a lot to me. Hope everybody is excited. The gates are about to open here, and we are looking at, we're looking at a Ramatra composition from both sides.
I love me some Ramatra, Chef Billy. Aiden and Twizzy taking the helm of the tank today. But the main difference here, gotta be pointing out, the Farah, Flaxhound, and Furry Trash will be taking to the skies for Kirksville.
I mean, the big thing is that we've got speed on Gateway Science Academy's squad. So, I mean, they're going to be able to really rotate around and deny the damage coming in from the Moose Bite coming in on the Bastion.
The Bastion is going to be a big source of damage, which is why Astronova's job here for the Gateway Science Academy is going to be incredibly important. It gets them the speed to grab into the fight. Art, Mori, and Cypher coming up with their first elimination. Second for the Kiriko player, and Gateway Science Academy able to roll over Kirksville for the first fight.
Oh, that's a done fight, and that's just because of the speed engage. Once again, you're able to, you didn't even have to amp the speed. Like, you don't see the Lucio there in the kill feed. That was just normal speed amp coming through. So, I mean, you're saving the amp for the healing that comes through because of all that spam damage coming in from Moose Bite there on the Bastion. Also, Flaxhound now going over to a Sojourn.
All right, the Sojourn, much more consistent choice than the Farah. Will be able to lay down this damage out of longer range, taking advantage of the high ground now here of this grid section of Coliseo, but Flaxhound down once again. Twizzy on the chase, finds the Mercy. Great usage of this Ramatra to go in with this Omnic form and just destroys anyone on Kirksville who is trying to set up on the high ground.
I mean, I tell you what, this is pretty filthy coming out from Gateway Science. I mean, Twizzy is absolutely dominating the space. They're going to get the butt scratch moment, and they're just moving forward.
And you know what this is, Billy? This is Twizzy using Astronova and Arami to take that space. They're using all of the support and the speed that you have with this composition. They've unlocked that first checkpoint, which is a very key spot here in Coliseum. So now their team is going to spawn much closer. Their run back time for when they end up losing players in fights is going to be shorter. But Twizzy doesn't want that to happen at all. It takes the tide into their own hands. Annihilation in play. A whole wipe about to go the way of the Gateway Science Academy Gators. Their run is not over just yet.
Hello? That was a Kitsune rush into with an annihilation on the back of it. Those fists were flying furiously, and they get the job done. They do invest 2 ultimates into the fight, so they still have sound barrier to go up against this answering annihilation coming in. But the sound barrier and a tac visor ready to go. My God, there's a lot coming out. Cyber gets the Helix Rock kill onto Aiden.
Aiden going down, there's no tank. Kirksville Senior High, you'd be panicking right now. The resurrection is there, but the Mercy and Wild Dog are gone. The support's unavailable. There's only a few ultimates left in the tank for Kirksville, but they're not gonna have the opportunity to use them. Slashers lying in wait for the Riptire. Anyone daring to peek their head out of the spawns. No one coming light because the Gateway Science Academy, they are knocking on the doors of Kirksville Senior High Tigers. They want to get the touch, and this is the last chance for Kirksville to stand tall. Wild Dog, their last-ditch effort to touch, goes down in vain as the Gateway Science Academy Gators are going to claim map 1 of Coliseum.
That was just one-way traffic, Tiny. That was so dominant coming in from the Gators, putting the Tigers down on a leash and saying, sit. And Twizzy was the absolute spearhead of this Gator squad.
Oh, yeah. Twizzy went in and just punched their way through the competition today. We saw this multiple times using this omnic form to just get up in the faces of their opponents. It bought so much time and space. It did not allow the Tigers to get a full regroup in their Billy. It was constant staggering because of this aggression and the initiative that the Gators showcased here. And that's going to put them up on match points of their first game today.
I mean, this is fantastic coming out from them. I mean, this is exactly what you wanted from them, and they get it done. We get to actually have a look here in our production chat at the site on scene there. Oh my goodness, they're all facing each other. Oh, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. Getting a chance to play in LAN. You and I have both casted LANs. I would have given anything to be up in St. Charles today, but you got us here. And now we're going to look at what the ban is going to be coming through from Kirksville. They get to veto a map out of the rotation.
Yep, so it looks we'll have to go ahead and wait and see what map will be coming up next us today. But I mean, hey, in the meantime, we got to talk a little bit more about, you know, kind of the tournament, the event as a whole. What's the structure really looking like today, Billy? From my understanding, we have 8 teams that will be competing in the St. Charles, Missouri Overwatch Invitational in a double elimination bracket. So each team will have 2 chances to be able to compete, at least 2. In this bracket today. Before those 2 losses will inevitably knock them out. That will slowly seed our teams out as we proceed throughout the day, all in the best of 3. So if we look into our next years ahead, if the Gators manage to take away this next game, this match will go their way.
Yep, and I mean, we'll see where we're going to go. And it looks like we are going to be heading to Antarctic Peninsula.
Ooh.
So we will see how it's going to be going. So, I mean, this is a very, very new map to a lot of us players. Yep. It's been in the rotation for about, 3 months now? So, I mean, you definitely understand how to get your way around the map. Looks like we're going to start out on sub-level here. And I like this map because there's so many different entry points for your team to take, especially if you're running like a flank player, like a tracer, like a sojourn. Those are great to be able to kind of work your way around the back of the team and like surprise them, jump scare them. It's like, hi, I'm here. The fact that Astronova is sticking with the Lucio, by the way, this is why I think that Gateway is going to be so dominant right now, is because they do have that speed option.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, right? Is that they're playing more as a condensed unit where they're not taking nearly as many off angles. They give all of the support to Twizzy to allow their team to take these fast engages, catching Kirksville off guard. They're going to be sticking with a relatively similar comp, and at least in terms of the support line, Aiden will be going over to the Orisa, a more stable tank in the front line than before, but will be enough to stop the Gateway Science Academy's momentum.
I mean, you've definitely got a better kit, I think, than what a Ramatra brings, even though we saw Twizzy be very, very masterful on the Ramatra. It's all about the support. What kind of support can you give your tank? If you can actually set your tank up for success, this is going to do a lot. What a base shot there, by the way, coming from Slasher76 on the Bastion.
All right, it's got like the geometry mapped out. Kind of impressed by that one. They'll have to teach me how to go ahead and play the Bastion, but right now they need to worry about Cypher going down. That's a first elimination for Kirksville, but Wild Dog immediately traded out. Love that from Gateway Science Academy. They recognize that they're down, and they just full send it, Billy. They're running over the Tigers despite being at an early disadvantage, and Araromi proving to be stellar on this Kiriko once again. Woo!
Good God, Romy, hello, taking not only the Sombra but also the tank down solo. This is the Kiriko. This is the power of those headshot kunais. The building, the cumulative effect of those headshots coming in, just absolutely owning. 60% towards a Kitsune rush already. Looking at Aiden now swapping over to the D.Va, so they're going for mitigation. They're going for mobility. They're still a little bit slow though with Wilo on this Mercy. Really do need to see a little bit more of a speed option coming in from them.
That's kind of the tricky part, right? Is that you don't have a clear way in or out of these fights, and it's going to catch players like Wild Dog out as soon as Twizzy decides to get aggressive here. Gateway Science Academy see Kirksville on the point, not too happy with it, so they're going to drop down themselves, apply that additional pressure, and force them to retreat.
I mean, Aiden right there gets out with their mech, so I mean that's a win. He gives over a lot of healing resources. I mean, I'm looking for a Moose right now to get up to this tire and really put Gateway under a bit of pressure.
Oh, or you could just go ahead for Twizzy and move right on in, not even allow Moose to have that opportunity. Annihilation coming up with two, still looking for more. Wild Dog somehow, some way gets the resurrection off and will grab Arami as a result. So that is something for Kirksville to work off of. But since they're getting staggered out here now, Billy, they're not going to be able to turn it into too much.
They really aren't. I mean, this is just going from bad to worse here for Kirksville. Kirksville needs to get something on the board. They've got a tire, and they've got the Tree of Life, so they have some entry onto the point, but it's all about taking the space.
Yep. That's step number one, right? You need to get to the objective, and you don't exactly have the tools to do that. That's the most difficult part, which is why Moose has to come up big. The Riptire in play. That's Astronova down. No sound barrier for the Gateway Science Academy Gators, and this is Turfield's chance. They have to move to the objective. 99% about to be reached on the control point. The flip will come through, going in favor of the red squad for the first time today. Will they be able to hold on? Gateway have a slew of ultimates coming out, including the Kitsune Rush and the sound barrier. Later on in the battle, they need to come up with it now, but Cypher's on the high ground, uncontested. That's one, that's two for the Soldier 76 player. Will end up going down, but it's done plenty of damage for their team, forcing Kirksville to move back a little bit, but they can't stay away for long, Billy. 99% on the board for Gateway. As soon as this point flips back over, it would be a Gateway round one win. Be contested, and Aiden gets the rematch some way, somehow. You go ahead and take that right now because Kirksville, they're doing their best to stay alive in the fight, but these ultimates coming out of Gateway are just simply too much for them to handle. This round coming closer and closer to an end as the Gators will start off strong in the Antarctic Peninsula.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know how Aiden gets the mech back there. I mean, Twizzy had a beeline for the back of the mech and just barely hops in through, but it was just a little bit too much, too late. They're coming in from Gateway Science Academy. They take the 1-0 lead here in our sub maps, and now it looks like we're heading to Icebreaker. Penguin Overwatch. Penguin Overwatch. Where's my penguins? Where's my penguins? I have penguin.
Are they?
Oh, no penguins.
So sad.
Okay, I
Y'all
feel
said
like
goodbye
I
today.
have been cheated. I've been cheated out of my penguins today. I'm gonna have words with our producer after this. But you know what? But we need to have words about Kirksville. They need to have speed option. They need to get off this Mercy and Life Weaver combo. I like the Life Grip. I don't mind the Life Weaver, but I think that it's single target healing coming out from Wild Dog, getting your players around is what's really killing this Tiger squad right now. The Gators just have so many options with mobility.
Mobility as well as Stain with that Lucio Kiriko support line right now. And because they get to the point first, you set Slasher up to just chuck these bombs down mid. Black Sound goes down, the resurrection is there, so they're back on an even footing. But once again, Billy, there isn't a clear direction for Kirksville to engage in this fight, so they're not going to be able to cap this point.
They're not. And I mean, I like the mitigation from the D.Va. I like the mobility of the D.Va. I like the repositioning ability of Moose on this Junkrat. Romy might be the most lethal DPS in this lobby right now.
And Romy isn't even playing a DPS, Billy. That is a support hero, mind you. They are doing so much work for their team right now. And I mean, Gateway, they're able to get aggressive once that elimination starts to come through. But they got to be cautious. The point was just captured from behind. Somebody from Kirksville managed to get towards the objective. Sure, it's a nice, good old 5%, but not enough progress to solidify.
I mean, it pulls the attention from the choke as well. So I mean, I think that's working in their favor. And I think it was Moose on the Junkrat. So I mean, you've got the tire coming up. Sound barrier not even close, but what they do have is this Kitsune rush because of all the damage that Romy's putting in.
Dude, Romy is putting in the work for Gateway right now. Already up to this Kitsune rush. That is going to be big coming up. But do they know? Flexhound working in the back line, waiting on the far right now. But Twizzy in a bit of danger. Romy can't afford to turn around to look at the danger that lies behind. You have to focus on this hit, and it's going to cost the life of Slasher. But Romy comes up with the elimination onto the Fora in the sky. What a shot to shut it all down, but Gateway, they're still in a heap of trouble. Twizzy taking a hit by that rip tire. There's no tank, no point of stabilization, and this is going to be percentage gained for Kirksville now.
I mean, and good stagger kill there on the Ashe Nova as well, so we've got some options here. We've got some staying power. It cost them 3 ultimates, though. That's the big problem, and they're going into attack visor. This pharmacy combo is going to be under serious duress on the next fight.
There's so much that's about to be chucked Flaxhound and Wild Dog's direction, and they need to be very careful about where they're positioning themselves. Find some natural cover to play around, because this one is about to get a whole lot of messy, especially with Twizzy. The first elimination onto Moose, the resurrection, a risky one, but it manages to go off at the cost of the Mercy player. Was it worth it in the end? It seems like it may not have been so, as Gateway have all the tools to work with, only ended up using 2 of them here, and it's nearing this final fight of the whole map, Billy.
I mean, they're going to get put in the corner, too. They put Aiden in the corner and take him out of the mech, and they're done. They're done. Yeah.
That's it. You can't even get a full contest at this point. If you're Kirksville, somebody has to come up big. Flaxround is hanging around, has the barrage in tow. If they manage to find something with this, it could keep their team in this game, but the time is running low, 98%. Can somebody get a touch on the objective? Yes, one will come in at the final moment. Flaxround there with the barrage, doesn't find the targets needed. Gateway, sound barrier in play, sack visor to give them that extra support, even if they lose Cypher to the good old tactical nuke. That will be Gateway Science Academy Gators taking their full game number 1.
That is a pretty impressive. I mean, they take it 2-0 now, and I mean, this is fantastic work out of them. So I believe it is a 1-2 here, if I remember correctly. Yep. So if that is the case, then that means that Gateway Science Academy are your round 1 winners here. They will continue in the upper bracket. We'll see Kirksville Senior High go down to the lower bracket. They will have another chance to stay in this tournament, but they are going to have to really take a look at their compositions.
Yeah, you have a little bit more time to go back and just reevaluate what happened in this map. That is the nice part about the way this tournament is structured, is you can take that time to talk to your coaches, understand what went well, what maybe could be fixed going on forwards, and kind of like we mentioned before, we want to see some sort of entry ability, whether that is the Lucio speed or just some more sustain on the back end of that support line to help empower the rest of the team going on forwards. We did see some nice individual highlights, though, from the Tigers throughout this game today. It just wasn't enough to dethrone what the Gators have been practicing.
Yep, and I mean, that's exactly what you wanted to see out of them. I mean, they have had just a fantastic here first round. Kirksville, I mean, take a look. Maybe go look at the VOD real quick. And see what can work better. I think that speed is going to be something that you certainly need to be looking at here. But remember, these are high school students. So, I mean, we have different compositions. We have different styles of play. And maybe, in their lower bracket game, they might have better success. So we'll see how Kirksville will do going on down the road. But we're going to head to a short little break. We're going to get our next 2 teams up. Don't go away. We'll be back with the St. Charles Invitational Tournament in just a few moments.